Hello, good evening and welcome to my humble model railway, Bedstead Junction. Now tonight we'll be looking at another locomotive that I've just fetched from my local collection point. It's an eBay purchase and it's a Terrier. Now I know that these Terriers are mainly associated with the London and Brighton and South Coast Railway and then with the Southern Railway before they passed into British ownership. But two of these locomotives actually obtained a local association to myself in the Bristol area, in that they were eventually bought up by the Great Western Railway. Now it's a bit of a long story how this happened, and it's also a little bit associated with the with Colonel Stevens. Some of you are fans of the sort of light railways of Britain. We know about Colonel Stevens. I think most it is associations with things like the Kent and East Sussex Railway. That was a Colonel Stevens one, and also he became in charge of the Western Clevedon and Portishead Light Railway, which is near to me. But what we'll do is we'll go over this. Give as much history as possible. Now I'm not too familiar with this class of engine, but I'm going to give you as much accurate information as I can. Okay, any comments obviously down below if I do give any inaccuracies. It won't be through any form of carelessness. It's just that I've done as much research as I can and condense it down into a reasonable length. Now without any further ado, we're going to have a look at this locomotive, and I've got it on the tracks already, and we'll see it in action. Okay, so the locomotive we're looking at is a Terrier Portishead, and it's a Hornby locomotive, and we'll just set her off for you, and we'll give you some detail of the locomotive quite shortly. So let's just watch this get underway. Now I know it's not putting the right coaches before anybody starts screaming at the screen. I use these for various purposes. So I have the forward coaches. I think what I'll probably do is try and get some GWR coaches that go with it, four-wheeled. I think these ones originally came with a Caledonian train set. They're the right colour for it. I thought they were the most appropriate for this particular locomotive, or at least the most that I've got now. Okay. Now, when this locomotive was on the Western Clevedon and Portishead Light Railway, the Western Clevedon and Portishead Railway used some quite unusual rolling stock, which was designed for originally designed for use in Argentina, but they ended up being sold to the Western Clevedon and Portishead Light Railway, and they had verandas on either end. Of course, I don't have models of those. Okay, so we're doing our best with what we have here today. Now this has to be one of the smallest locomotives I have in my collection. Probably the Peckets are a similar size, and we're going to be looking at another locomotive just for comparison purposes quite shortly, because we've got another locomotive online which we'll see, which has got association with my local area. We'll just watch her go round just for a little bit. Right, now I'm back. I just had to fetch something which I wanted you to see. Now the locomotive I have is R2679 GWR 060 Terrier Class A1X Portishead. Okay, that was the name given to it, I believe, when it was under the services of the Western Clevedon and Portishead Light Railway. Now, not much remains of the Western Cleveland and Portishead Light Railway, unfortunately, because there was very little in the way of actual infrastructure on it. Now, this is the facts as far as I know about this particular locomotive we're seeing tonight. Now, it's associated with Colonel Stevens, who took charge of the Western Cleveland and Portishead Light Railway in 1911. Now, unfortunately, he passed away in 1931. That was 9 years before the actual closure of the railway in 1940. Now, this one came to the line in January 1926, when there was a need for engines, and Colonel Stevens went to the Southern Railway for locomotives, and this one was bought for the Western Cleveland and Portishead Light Railway, and apparently was practically the best engine they had. There were various other locomotives on the line, but this one definitely improved the punctuality and performance and the image of the railway. Another Terrier joined in 1936. Now, both Terriers went on to the Great Western after the closure of the line in 1940. Our particular locomotive, Portishead, worked in the Bristol area until 1948. It was then moved to Bridgewater Docks, sent to Swindon for storage, and then scrapped in 1954. Now, certainly after World War II, the numbers of Terriers dwindled rather greatly, because the uses for them were gradually being taken away by superseded by other locomotives, electrification on the Southern, all kinds of reasons. I believe that these were used on the service to Hayling Island. They got the name Terrier through the loud bark of their exhaust. Now, as you see, I mean, these are GWR four-wheel coaches I've got here. Well, no, sorry, Caledonian ones. And they almost dwarf the locomotive. If I put like a normal sized carriage on here, it would literally dwarf this locomotive. It's pulling very, very well. Now, what I've done before pressing this locomotive into service, I've actually removed the body, and I've given the gears, the worm drive, a little bit of lubrication with some hobby lube grease. I've also put a tiny drop of oil on each end of the motor spindles, tiny drop, that none will get inside. I've also lubricated the axles and the actual connecting rods where the crank pins are on the wheels. So it's all really ready now to be pressed into service on my railway, and they're doing a very, very fine job of putting these three Caledonian carriages. Now, apparently 50 of these locomotives were built, 6 in 1872, and then another 44 between 1874 and 1880. So they did see quite a lengthy service with the London and Brighton and South Coast Railway, then with the Southern Railway in the grouping of 1923, and then finally in BR service in 1948. But these are how these locomotives, two of them, became the property of the Great Western Railway. And in fact, this one is actually marked up with Great Western livery. What a lovely little locomotive. Like I say, tiny little locomotive here. And I think what we'll do is we'll have a look at this one on the Lazy Susan in just a few moments. And in fact, if you just wait just a few moments, that's the next time you'll see this locomotive, it will be on the Lady Susan itself. Right, so here we are up close and personal, or at least as close as I can actually get. We'll see if we can move it a little bit closer for you. I don't know if I'm zoomed right in actually with this particular lens here. Now you can see this engine is in green, so probably the Great Western green. It's got the GWR logo here. Might be small for you to see. I might bring this one closer to the camera for you to get a better look. And underneath is Portishead. And we've got a number 5 on here. Okay, so this is what the lovely Terrier looks like. It's an 060 locomotive. No painted cab detail on this particular one. I may have got an early model of this particular one. I don't know if these were later enhanced by Hornby. Let's have a go at moving closer, shall we? There, we'll see if we can focus a little bit better on this now. Ah, there we are. That's more like it. Okay, so you can see where it says Portishead. Safety valve detail here and the whistle. Everything's been painted green by the look of it, except the GWR logo and the number 5. And also, obviously, you've got the smoke box is black and the roof of the cab is black. That's a front view here, so we'll take a look now. Let's come down to the little. Right, so we've got a steam pipe attached already. Those buffers are not sprung. Or are they? No, they're not sprung. Okay. Rather tall looking chimney for a locomotive this size. Got the medium size coupling on here. That doesn't bother me because a lot of my coaches have got either medium or large style couplings. Smoke box starts moulded on. What appears to be a separately fitted handrail here. Ah, there we go. So I've got handrails on the top of the boiler there. Again, practically the same view. Got the Great Western Railway logo and Portishead written underneath. What these brass fittings are here, just above the front splasher. Perhaps someone can let me know what they are. Experts on the Terriers. And we appear to have a fair amount of moulded on detail here, but in my own mind, it's a very handsome looking little locomotive. Move around to the back. Again, steam pipe fitted. Buffer's not sprung. Small coal in the back. I guess this one had a fairly short range, would have thought. And again, the wider coupling there. You've also got the hook here, but no chains to go on there. I'm not sure if I had an accessory pack with this locomotive. I don't think I did. No, I don't think I did. Let's just see. I did, yes. I stand corrected. Well, the point of this being an older type model is that it came in this polystyrene packaging there. You can see quite heavily zoomed in there, but get the idea, polystyrene packaging. And there's a small detail pack just here. I'll get focus on that for you. There we go. Alright. But yeah, that's a view of the rear part of the locomotive. Coming back round to the view here, we'll move it closer again. There we go. So we've got a nice nice view over there. You see, it's a pretty little looking locomotive in my opinion. It does say it's probably an earlier version. I don't know if this one was restored and updated or anyway. I'll probably get another Terrier to go with this one for one of my Southern Railway running sessions. But certainly for this one, I mean, obviously this in the GWR livery. I think it came when it was sent to the Western Cleveland Portishead Light Railway. It was painted black. They did a rather bodged job of painting it apparently, and you could still see the original Stroudley colouring underneath in patches. But as I say, it was the best engine apparently that the Western Cleveland Portishead Light Railway had at the time, and it did very much when it was in their possession improve the running of the railway. This obviously it would have been when it came into BR ownership, into Great Western ownership, and that would have been in 1940 after the sad closure of the Western Cleveland Portishead Light Railway. It was closed for various reasons. I mean, one was obviously there was a war, and I think there was a lot to do with the wartime conditions. And it was never reopened. I think that the rails were all lifted up for war purposes, and in 1942 and 1943, so really the line had disappeared. There we go. We can get a better look now at the front. So let's move this over. I've had to move it off centre because to give you a closer view of the locomotive. Very, very nice. Right, now one thing I forgot to show you was it came with the operating instructions, the usual ones there. And here it tells you how to replace the motor, so okay, fair enough. Accessories. And also accessories there to change the appearance of the locomotive. And then we've got instructions of where to lubricate the locomotive itself. First instruction on the back about the motor again. And television suppression. Safety notes of parents. Okay, so that's all from the Hornby. Now the next time you'll see this locomotive is going to be back on the track and circling my railway. Again, it's like I say, it's been another late night shooting. It's just when I got time to sit down and get these videos shot. I sit down nice and quiet and complete everything. I'll be back within just a few moments. Right, so here's our lovely Terrier pulling its 3-coach train. And I know, although it's in the Great Western livery now, we can imagine this locomotive maybe valiantly pulling trains down the Western and Cleveland and Portishead Light Railway. And certainly an interesting subject for someone to look up. And I've sort of looked at a brief history of him. Colonel Stevens, okay, Colonel Holman F. Stevens. So this will be this video was made a little bit in honour of Colonel Stevens. 31st of October 1868 he was born, and he passed away on the 23rd of October 1931. Colonel Stevens took charge of or was responsible for the running of many light railways. Now we're going to run this one over some points into a station. So I want you to see two locomotives side by side, just for comparison purposes, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to run this one in now. Right, so here we go. And we can see what this lovely little locomotive is like over points. There we are, it's making a lovely effort of bringing my train into the station. There we are. I'm going to bring it back just ever so slightly to about here. That'd be fine. Now we're going to bring in another locomotive, like I say, just purely for comparison purposes, and we're going to have a quick look at a 14XX locomotive. So just bear with me a few moments. Right, so we've got the lovely 14XX coming out now. This is another Hornby locomotive. Like I say, we're going to be running it round into the station purely for comparison purposes. Now this is probably one of the smaller GWR models in existence, okay, 14XX. Okay, so what I've done is I've brought in to the station my 14XX Great Western Railway locomotive, and it's hard to see it because of the perspective and the lens, but certainly the 14XX is a lot bigger than the Terrier. But I thought I'd let you see just how small and cute this locomotive is. It really is a lovely looking locomotive. Like I say, I look forward to maybe buying some other versions to go with my Southern Railway sessions. I run them. But I've really enjoyed running this one tonight. It's got glazed cab windows on here on the Terrier. Now, if you have liked what you've seen tonight, then please press that like button, give me a like, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and that would make you don't need to pay any money to have a subscription or anything like that. It's just that you'll be made aware of future videos, and if you ring the bell symbol, and I usually go for all content when I subscribe to people's channels, then you'll be made aware of future videos that I make. And I do have some quite interesting videos coming up. Okay, so on that note, I should bid you farewell and good night.